Well, what's going on, Facebook family? Once again, it is on. Once again, we're in the building. Yours truly, Joe Dupree from 100 BLK, the Black Station, along with my good friend Edward J. Brown from Positive Choices. And we're in the building on this Wellness Wednesday, 6th day of September. It is a new month. Football season is back in full effect. And we're here to talk about your mental health because your mental health matters. And a healthy you is a better you. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, it is a beautiful day. It has been.
It is.
We've seen a lot happen since we last talked, and things that could be triggers to affect people's mental health. But football season is back in effect. I thought I was going to have to call you Saturday night after the Jaguars lost to the Hornets.
I
thought we had to put some people on suicide watch.
I was in need of some counseling after that fiasco, man. I mean, come on, man. You cannot play, no disrespect to the Hornets at all, but you cannot play down to your competition. We should not have had 4 turnovers. You can't win the game when you got 4 turnovers.
Correct.
Simple as that.
Correct.
The defense held these cats to numbers that we should have surpassed on offense, and we couldn't do it.
Correct.
So
that's why they play the game.
Down to your
listen, just because we lost the game doesn't mean that we won't come back this Saturday as we take on
the season not over.
Jackson State Tigers for the Boombox Classic. A lot of folks say that Southern's going to be 0-2. I believe Southern's going to be 1-1. I predict we will upset the Tigers at A.W. Mumford this Saturday. That is my prediction.
Well,
and I may
concur. I concur because, to be honest with you, what I believe is what we saw against FAMU is the caliber of team that they have now. I'm not saying that they trash, but they are not on the level of FAMU. They're not on the level of a Southern. And in order for me to shut up, they're going to have to prove me wrong. So that's all I got to say about that. I'll be in the house. I know you'll be in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will be at A.W. Mumford, and I'm looking forward to a good game. Last year, I got cussed out at Jackson State, and they was winning. So what's going to happen when we win? They can't handle me when we lose it. So I got cussed out, man, and so I'm looking forward to a good game this year, man. I really am.
Yes, sir.
Which the Jags should triumph.
Yeah, they should. They should. So we've had a lot happen. We had storms come through, hurricanes, more hurricanes seems to be on the way. That really is affecting people's mental health because they don't know what tomorrow brings. And I was just reading that today, that so many times we don't learn the lesson from yesterday. We're too busy worrying about what's going to come tomorrow that we don't relish the moment that we're in.
Trauma is real. For people in Louisiana, hurricane season is traumatic. Ever since Katrina, and people are saying Katrina was 18 years ago? If it is still just as traumatic when the name Katrina is mentioned to Louisiana, to people from Louisiana, as it is to folks who've been through storms in other areas. So we have to pay attention to how we react during hurricane season. Because for people from Louisiana, we're like, Lord, it's hurricane season. Please let these storms pass us by. These are the things that we pray for because we're traumatized, man. No longer is hurricanes just a bad storm when we close schools for a couple of days and everybody got some off time. Hurricanes have changed. There's some truth to this global warming. That's why people get excited that we have a cold front and where we'll be under 100 degrees. I never saw people so excited. Say, "Oh, it's going to be 95 degrees next week." 95 and we happy, So
Listen,
it's
since
really
the last time.
Go ahead, man.
Since the last time we came on, you're right. We have had numerous days of temperatures over 100. We have had a storm occur. We have dealt with another racially motivated shooting in Jacksonville.
Really?
There has been so much pulling on our. and we're going through an election cycle. So right now, folks are like, oh my God, who is going to be the next group of folks who make the laws for us as people to live by and to be governed by? Man, it's a lot to pull on your mental health. And guess what? When your mind is going so many directions, you need somebody to say, listen, everything's going to be okay. And it's okay not in case you're not okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Edward J. Brown, Positive Choices Counseling Service.
Hey man, it's good to be here. It's always good to get together on Wednesdays with you, my brother, so we can talk about the issues that impact the quality of life that we live. Today, when I was thinking, as we do every Wednesday, what would my topic be? There's something that jumped out at me that we all deal with on a daily basis, and we've talked about it periodically, but I think it's always a good topic to have because it transcends gender, it transcends age, it transcends race, and that is the thought process of what do you do when you feel you're not enough? What do you do when you feel you've done all you can do and it's still not enough? That is why we see suicide on a rise. That's why we see anxiety disorder, depressive episodes all on the rise, because we all get to that point where you've done everything you can do and it still does not work out the way you wanted it to. It still does not, give you the outcome that you desire, be it school, be it in your personal relationships. Oh my God, don't talk about in parenting. When your children are just not, no matter how much you do for them, how much you try to put out there, no matter what, things don't work out. And we get that sense of overwhelm, that feeling of overwhelming sadness because we feel like we failed. No. That is what we're going to address today and where we're going to change. When all you've done is not enough, then you have to realize that's all I can do. All I can do is all I can do. And there comes a time to where we may have to accept that in some areas of our life. And one of the things that made me bring this up was parenting. When you have put everything you can into your children, what happens when they get old enough to make their own decisions and they don't make the decisions you would like for them?
Right.
Does that mean you were a failure as a parent? When you're on the job and you're giving 150% and the other coworker still gets the promotion.
Right.
Does that mean you didn't do a good job? Here's my favorite. You pray to God, because we always say prayer works, and you still do not get the outcome that you like. Does that mean you're a failure? So what we want to talk about was what happens when everything you're supposed to do is what you do and you don't get the outcome and you begin to feel, am I enough?
Correct.
Because when people feel like they're not enough, then they start contemplating other avenues and other things that they should do and other ideas that may make the situation better. No, sometimes we get to that point in life where all you can do is all you can do.
Correct.
And that may seem like a defeatist type mentality, but it's not. It's realism. It's realism. I remember there was a guy, and I cannot remember his name right now. And from the time he was born, he was reared to be an NFL quarterback by his father. So much so, when this guy went to college, keep in mind, he's getting ready to be drafted into the NFL. He had never had a candy bar in his life. He had never had McDonald's in his life. When he was drafted into the NFL, he stayed 2 years before he was no longer picked up by a team. And I remember saying, wow, his entire life was predicated on being an NFL quarterback. Mission accomplished once he got drafted. But then what happened after that? So do you believe his father felt like a failure as a father?
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah. You think his dad felt like a failure? He got him exactly where he wanted to get him, which was to the NFL. What happens when you've done everything from private school and those kids decide they don't want to go to college?
Correct. What do you do?
You know, there was a scene in the Cosby Show where Theo was talking to Bill Cosby, and he was like, well, Dad, if you weren't a doctor and Mom wasn't a lawyer, I'd still love you guys. You'd still be my parents.
Right.
What's wrong with being normal? What's wrong with just being a normal old person? And Bill Cosby looked at him and then he just went off. You just lazy and you don't want to do what you're supposed to do. And that's what the old saying, I brought you into this world,
I'll take you out.
Right. So, I mean, I think that we have a tendency to, when we look at ourselves and our lives, we don't give ourselves enough credit for doing all we can do and the outcome still not being what we want. Now, you'll say, well, I don't understand. What's the point? Here's the point. I have no control, as much as that's my brother on the other side of this computer screen, and he and I are extremely close. I have no control over what he does. And if what he does directly impacts what I do, I can't feel like a failure. If last week, we didn't make it on last week, we both had something to come up. Were we failures because we didn't make it last week? I didn't feel like a failure. And I know my brother didn't feel like a failure. What we did was, though, we got ourselves together, and here we are this Wednesday with Wellness Wednesday, like we always do. We have to start looking,
because we're committed to you, the people.
Correct. What about relationships? Woo-wee.
Come on, talk to me.
You doing everything you're supposed to do. You dotting all the I's. You crossing all the T's. And that person still does not treat you the way you want to be treated. Or they still do things that is displeasing to you. I need everybody that watches this podcast tonight to realize in this world, we only have so much control. There are very, 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 very large amounts of variables that we have no control over. And when we don't have control over these variables, you have to include that in the equation when things don't work out the way you want them.
Come on. I can only do what I can do.
All I can do is all I can do. So now here we are. We're looking at questioning self. Am I enough? I'm not enough. I had a session today where no matter how much we can talk about jujitsu, taekwondo, all these different martial arts that use leverage, but 200 pounds against 130 pounds is not something anybody should wish. Because there's only so much you can do when you're outweighed by 70, 80 pounds.
Right.
That's how we look at interactions in life. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do my part. I need you to do your part. And if you don't, and the project fails, the situation doesn't give me the outcome that I desire, does that make me a failure? Do I carry this burden of failure that I'm not enough? Or do I say, well, I did all I can do?
Come on.
And now the rest falls in that category of these are variables that I cannot control.
Come on.
I can't control these variables.
And that puts a lot of pressure on folks. You know, some folks, you and I talk all the time.
Yeah.
The initials PYP,
protect your peace.
Protect your peace, play your position, protect your paper. I just finished making a post this morning about it. I said, listen, nobody's perfect, but you can definitely try to dress like it's perfect.
That's right. That's right. I can look perfect.
Your outfit can look good, even though you're not perfect. So, you got to know how to protect your peace. Family, that's the biggest reason a lot of us fall into these dire situations of depression, feeling like we're out there alone, because we did not protect our peace.
And what does that look like? What does that look like? It may look like you choosing not to engage in behaviors that threatens your peace. We've talked about this several times on this podcast. Let's say you decide that we're going to have a debate. All right, let's say, what's the debate? Okay, I believe the Steelers are the better team this year. Okay. Well, I believe the Saints are a better team. Now, we both disagree. How much energy and how much effort are you going to put into trying to convince me that you're right? Because it's only so much of that I'm going to take before it disturbs my peace.
Right.
And at some point I'm going to say, you know what, brother, I'm done with this conversation. I'm going to give you a call back later. I'm going to talk to you because I have to go.
Right.
But there are people who will engage in a conversation that there will be no positive outcome in, and then they wonder why at the end of the day they feel exhausted. They feel out of balance. They feel like they just can't, I don't know what's wrong with me. What's wrong is you just let your peace be disturbed.
Correct. That part.
Yeah. And here's the thing that, this is the part where it's going to get real good, so hold on. It's okay to limit people that have a history of disturbing your peace access to you.
Listen, everybody cannot have just free reign and access to you.
Access. No. And it is okay to limit those individuals to the amount of access to you that they have.
Come on, speak on it.
There was a guy that I went to high school with, and he was the walking epitome of an antagonist. I mean, if the classroom was quiet and everything was peaceful, this dude was going to walk in and stir up to where the whole class is in disarray. It got to the point where we would just say, you know what? We're going to come in class today, and we refuse to let him get us all riled up. And it took effort. It took effort for us to not get riled up.
Come on.
It's okay to say, you know what? I'm not going to answer that phone because I see this person calling.
Come on.
It's okay
listen.
To say,
hold
they're
up.
not invited to the barbecue.
Wait a minute. Okay. You just said something that I had to use this week. sometimes when your phone rings and you see that person that's calling you, you got to put a pause on that call and say, I'm not answering it at this moment because I'm not in a position to deal with the conversation that I know is about to come. So let me put a pause on that for this moment and make sure I'm at a place where I can literally mentally be in a good place to protect my peace when I talk to this person.
And that's okay. But we get, see, that was wrong. Why you didn't talk to them?
That's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. You know, right. Here's the thing. Okay, let me go back and be kind of clinical for a minute. When we get to a certain part of the life cycle, meaning we become adults, we do not adopt philosophies that we put in our children's development on our own development. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We have no problem
Speak on it.
At all looking at our children and saying, I don't want you playing with that little boy. That little boy is trouble. I don't want you around that little girl. That little girl is trouble. Our children don't like it. They're like, oh, I want to be, that's my friend. I don't care. I don't like that little girl. That little girl is going to get you in trouble. That little boy is going to get you in trouble. So why do we get to become adults, we feel bad when we say he not invited to the barbecue because he going to bring that drama? She can't come because she going to be throwing water bottles like in them Lifetime, those reality shows. She going to be throwing water bottles and the fight might break out.
Right. That part.
We apply these values and these principles to our children, but we do not apply them to our own sense of inner peace. Because if you do not believe energy exchange is real, here's an example. Have you ever been in a great mood? Maybe you like the way your shirt fit, or you had a good lunch, or I don't know, you just woke up and was singing your favorite song. I don't know. But then you have that interaction with that person, and for the rest of the day, it feels like it's a cloud hanging over you. That is what we call transference, countertransference. There was an exchange of energy. And instead of them taking away from you, you took away from them.
Wow.
Okay, they passed on that energy to you. And you trying to tell me you believe there is a problem with protecting yourself from that?
Come on. Listen.
Self-preservation is real.
It's the first law of the jungle. Hold on. I have started a new routine because here's what I've said to myself. I think we allow things that we see. I protect my gates, my eye gates, my ear gates. I try to protect what comes out my mouth. I wake up every morning now and I literally do not want to touch my phone or do not want to touch the TV for 30 minutes. 30 minutes to an hour. I want to just set the tone for the day, because you may see something on social media. You may see something on TV that all of a sudden this day that you have set. Now after you set your day, you can see stuff and say, well, I set my day. That doesn't affect me. But if you allow if the first thing you do is jump on social media when you wake up, first thing you do is turn on the TV and see the bad news on the news, because that's what it is. It's more bad news than good news. Your day literally gets set because on social media, what is it saying? It's saying you're not pretty enough. You're not smart enough. You're not rich enough. You're not enough, period. Social media definitely tells you how you are not enough. Folks say you should look like this, you should talk like this, you should do this new dance, you should do the latest trend. Social media will tell you what you're not. And if that's the first thing you're looking at in the morning, you're not looking at something edifying, you telling you, hey, you can do it today, you can win today. Don't get me wrong, there are some positive things out there on social media, but most of my social media timeline is full of folks fighting, full of folks with bad situations in relationships, and folks saying, I don't look good enough, so I need to do this to my body. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not rich enough, so I need to jump on this new thing of how to invest and make money. Social media will tell you what you're not. Wake up and tell yourself who you are, and just be to yourself and set your day. Don't let social media and the TV set your day. Back to my friend, Brother Brown.
Well, and keeping that in mind, you have complete control on how you want to begin any day. So I'll give you a glimpse into mine. When I actually open my eyes and I realize I am not in heaven, I realize I'm still on this earth. So the first thing I say is, well, God, I'm still here. So it must be something you want me to do. I hope I figure out what that is, and not only do it, but do it in a way that is pleasing to you. That's the first thing I say every morning when I wake up. And then, like you, I don't let anything infiltrate my eyes until I spend at least 30 minutes in the presence of peace. I have to spend 30 minutes in the presence of peace so that I can get my mind in a routine of this is how I desire my day to go.
Come on.
Okay. I do that for me. I desire my day to go this way. And then once I get to that point, now it's like, okay, so this is what I have to do. I'm going to be pleasant to everyone I greet. Good morning, hi, hello. And we're going to exchange pleasantries. Now, if you do not believe the slightest negativity impacts your life, be it social media, be it the person that you're in the house with, be it, it doesn't matter. I have an exercise for everybody I want them to do. I think I got a bottle right here.
Come on, right. Talk to me. Show it. Let
Here's
go.
A bottle of water. Okay, hold up. Here's a bottle of water. Okay. Here's just a simple bottle of water. We're not getting any advertisement, so I'm not going to show the brand. All right. Here's a bottle of water. If we go and get any kind of food coloring, I don't care what it is, yellow, red, doesn't matter. This is a whole bottle of water, right?
Come on.
We take the top off and we take one drop of red, one drop in this whole bottle, big bottle.
Right.
Okay. We put one drop of red food coloring in this bottle. It's going to change the color of that water.
Correct.
Even one drop. But that's not even the point. You say, well, yeah, that's not the point. Here's the point, brother. Brother Dupree, here's the point. Now you're looking at that one drop go in here, right?
Right.
And we're looking at it. And you're looking at it. Now, here's the assignment. You ready? Take it out. Let me see you take that one drop of food coloring out of this water. That is how negative energy impacts your body.
Wow.
You got one. It's easy to put it in there. All we got to do is take the top off, squeeze one drop in there.
Come on.
Put the top back on. But let me see you try to take that one drop out. You can't. It's not possible.
Come on now.
That is the way negative energy impacts us as people.
Wow.
That's why it's important to protect your peace. So
come on.
This is what I'm telling you, this is really good work today because you need to understand. So now there's one drop of water in here.
And one drop of color.
Makes you say, well, I can't get it out. Doesn't matter what color. I can't get it out. Oh, well, I'm going to just carry on without it. And that's fine. You'll go through life and you'll go through that day and everything. And then all of a sudden, you see a red bottle of food coloring. Be it on the ground, on the counter. You will immediately be connected to that red bottle of food coloring because you know it's a drop of it in you.
Come on. Come on.
You will realize that now, normally you wouldn't even notice that bottle of food coloring.
Come on. Right.
So that's why, this is good. That's why when we're talking about be careful what you expose yourself, your family, your household to, it's because it is very difficult to take something out once you allow it in. If this is not making sense to you, then you must live in a place called Oz. But even Oz had different colors.
Come on. Come on.
You know, even Oz had the gold people and green. The color is green.
Come on, red.
We have to pay attention to what type of energy, what type of environment we're in, and how it impacts our peace. Because once our peace gets one little chip in the armor, it's chipped.
Right.
It may not stop the mic from functioning. The mic may still look good, but it's a chip in it.
Correct.
It's okay for you to protect your peace and not allow people to infiltrate your peace with negativity. It's okay. And too often we feel guilty. I'm selfish. You're not selfish. You're protecting your peace.
Come on, speak on it.
If I was a known thief, Brother Dupree ain't gonna let me in his house. He'll be on pins and needles.
Right.
He gonna be on pins. If I go to the bathroom, he going to the bathroom.
Hold up. Who you just said something that you didn't even catch. Too many times we let habitual folks who mean us no good act.
Uh-oh. You froze up on me, brother.
Horrible. That's horrible. We here.
Okay. Yeah. It's like you cannot allow negativity into your life, and you got to be all right with self-preservation. You have to be all right with it. You know, if you continue to allow people to come in and chip away at your peace, you're going to find yourself with not much left.
Right. That's real talk.
I think about us coming up as kids, man. And we were all like brothers, man. We all lived in the same neighborhood. And if somebody came outside with something, I don't care what it was. It could be a sandwich. It could be a piece of cake or something. Everybody was like, I want a piece. And before you know it, you might have came out with something this big. Now you got this much left, but you're like, oh, well. That's how your peace is. Everybody wants a little bit of it. Do they want it to better it? Do they want it to make it, not as strong as it could be? What's their purpose for interacting with your peace? And that's okay to ask people. Because I ask folks in a minute, yo, man, what you need? What's going on? Huh? What's going on? I mean, you call what you need. No, I was just calling to say hello. Nah, you don't call just to say hello. What's going on? Well, look, man, I was just wondering, can I borrow your truck? No. And I feel okay with that. Now, I am the most giving and loving and outgoing person in the world. But at this age, I just had a birthday 2 weeks ago. At this age, I'm protecting my peace.
Come on.
And I advise everyone within the sound of this podcast to take inventory of your peace, see what you got left, and you better hold on to it.
That's it. PYP, protect it.
Look, I'm going to have to look at them Jaguars because them Jaguars try to disturb my peace. They better get it together. They better get it together, man.
Hey, and you can even look back at some of the movies that have been instrumental in the culture. like the Black Panther. I recall well when M'Baku showed up, they asked the question, M'Baka, why are you here? M'Baka said it's challenge day.
Yeah,
so you got to you got to sometimes say this some folk when you ask them why they there and they tell you it's challenge, say no, not today. Today not challenge day. Because today, I'm not going to let you disturb my peace. So today is the day that you, Masa, Hoompa, you head back to from whence you came.
Listen, I'm so in tune with my peace. I tell them, let me tell you something. It don't look good for you today, and tomorrow it don't look promising either. I'm just letting you know. I protect my peace so much. I'm like, let me tell you something, man. It ain't looking good for you today, and tomorrow don't look too good either. So catch me next week, because you know, and I know we making light of the situation, but I want everybody to take a minute, and I want you to think about this. Have you ever had such a chaotic day? And I use this with my clients a lot. I call it the best 30 seconds of the day. And I want everybody to try this. After you get home from work and you take off all the clothes that you're going to take off, I don't want you to turn TV on. I want you to just lay on the bed and count to 30. You'll be surprised how long 30 is. When complete silence. And you say, wow. And all of a sudden you're going to hear. Now, if you're lucky, you can extend that 30 seconds into 30 minutes.
Come on.
But at some point, you have to detach from the world and allow your peace. Do you know why sleep is so important? It allows the body to heal itself. It allows the body to rejuvenate. See, because right now, with me talking and me moving, my body is using energy to do all of that.
Correct.
So it can't focus the energy on healing, because I might need to walk, I might need to move, I might need to talk. But when you are sleeping, the only thing that is working is your heart and your lungs. Your body and the rest of everything has kind of slowed down. Now the body can say, all that energy I was using, walking around, moving and working, I can use to heal, to rejuvenate. And you don't think your peace is important?
Come on, speak on it.
You can't sleep at night. You feel anxious. Protect your peace. You are enough. All you can do is all you can do at the end of the day.
Correct.
If you've given your all to a project, to a person, to a situation, then that's all you can do.
Right. That's right.
I believe that we are now in a position where we have to start looking at, because this world we live in is chaotic. And it's designed to steal your peace. When you can no longer go into the house of the Lord and find peace, that make you scratch your head. I even saw a story on social media the other day where there's a library where you can talk in the library now, because they say all of that being quiet in the library is not necessary.
Wow.
I'm like, no, somebody didn't like the fact that the library was very quiet, so they wanted to disturb that peace. I believe that everyone should have peace. Now, listen, think about this. And I ain't talking about nobody because I don't know for a fact. But there's people that take their phone in the bathroom with them just to scroll through social media. You can't get up in the morning and not go to the bathroom without your phone, because you got to see what's going on your favorite social media site.
Message.
Hey, look in the mirror, because there's something in there that makes you say, why? What happened in my life that I need? Like right now, reality TV, all the housewives shows, all of the shows that have people interacting on a daily basis and not getting along or getting along. Why do we find such joy in other people's misfortune? All right, now that was one of the moments right there. I'm gonna leave that alone. We don't know that right there. We find joy in other people's misfortune. That's the society we live in now.
And that's real talk. Hold it.
That's the society we live in.
That right there, that what you just said is real. Listen, we have more appreciation for drama. Post a fight right now on social media. Hold it.
You're going to get 100,000 likes.
Hold it. See how many folks since I just left Montgomery went and watched the Montgomery Brawl. Mm-hmm. But have somebody come on here and give you something positive that can change your life or maybe save your life. Watch folk barely even want to share that. Folk don't even want to talk about that. Have somebody come on here and tell you something that can literally elevate your situation, your family situation, kill generational curses, put you in a position of wealth and prosperity. If it ain't some drama in it, they don't want to hear that.
Drama sells. How many shows on TV do you see that's totally 100% based in positivity? Now, you may have one storyline out of 5 that's about positivity. But I don't know one show on television that the entire show is about America's Got Talent. Maybe that's it. But there's even acts on that they're like, that's not good. You're not good at all. You're terrible. You're not good at all. So there's always going to be some negativity. Be sure to limit how much of that red coloring you allow into you. Because once it's in, you can't take it out. You can't get it back.
Right.
You can. I wanted to take a minute to talk to you because I've never said anything, but every week we talk about these candidates and what they're going to be doing in regards to the election that's coming up. I see we have about about 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
I need to take a minute to get on the soapbox for a second.
Get on it, brother.
And if nobody understands why the political climate that we live in is important, I'm going to give it to you from my perspective as a therapist.
Give it up, bro.
These individuals who are going to be sitting in the ivory tower making decisions, I need to know what your mindset is, because you're going to make decisions on the quality of services we can provide.
Ooh.
You understand? And if you have no dog in this hunt, as a guy told me the other day, because he didn't have anybody in his family that was mentally ill, I said, well, you could never get my vote, because a lot of your constituents are mentally ill.
Come on.
A lot of the people you work with is mentally ill.
Come on.
What I need everyone to understand is it's important that you know who you're voting for, because they're the ones making the decisions on what we can do. All right, let me give you a glimpse into how crazy this is, this situation I'm a part of. Okay.
Come on.
We're a licensed counseling agency. All the managed care companies require us to go through a rigid licensing process. Okay. They make sure that everything they know, all of the ins and outs about us and the people that work here, before they give us a license.
Come on, speak on it.
All right. Now let me show you how crazy this process is. Okay. So now they say, we believe you are you are skilled enough to be a licensed provider.
Come on.
We're like, great. So all of their clients, if somebody comes in and we say, oh, you have this particular managed care company, or you have this, the ones you see, all the commercials on TV.
Come on.
Sure, we take your insurance. We take that. Absolutely. Come on in. Now keep in mind, I'm going to keep the reoccurring theme. They approved us as an agency.
Come on. You are approved by a board.
Approved. We have met all of your standards.
Right. Come on.
Right. So now one of your clients come in and we go through the process. They meet with the doctor, they meet with the assessment, and we do all of the paperwork and everything that we're supposed to do as a licensed provider for you. You trusted us and said we have enough knowledge to be that provider. And we take all of your clients' stuff and submit it to you, and you deny them.
Woo!
Wait a minute. Wait. Did you not tell me you trusted me enough that you gave us a license under your managed care company? So you make us jump through the hoops and dive under the thing and give you all this stuff. This is what you need in order to be a licensed provider. Okay, you got to have people that can do this, that, and the other. Okay, we got all of that. And you present us with this license, which makes me say, cool, you believe we have the skills to treat your clients.
Come on, speak on it.
Now we do all of this paperwork and we give all of this time and then we submit it to you for approval and you deny them.
You know, let me say something.
It makes no sense, does it?
I got to say something here. This is why your vote is your voice and your voice has power. Just before I got on this podcast, I left a city council and parish council debate. Well, it wasn't a debate. It was a forum from the League of Women Voters. And sometimes you got to listen carefully to what people say, because some folks only repeat what they heard somebody else say. And, I always watch that when they have those type forums that they have individuals speaking. I always watch what the first one says or the one that gets the best attention from the crowd, because if it's like a whole bunch of people who are not speaking one-on-one, some folks just copy what other folks say and they kind of switch it around.
Correct.
You need to start asking people one-on-one, what are you going to do to make the quality of life in my community and for me better? Period. That's it. What are you going to do on the issues? Because watch this. Mental health is real. Mental health disparities within communities of colors are real. Suicide and depression is at an all-time high in our communities, not only amongst the elderly, the middle age, but also the youth. It runs rampant from literally elementary all the way up to those who are senior citizens. And family, we've got to start asking folks, because mental health is crazy to me. Mental health can't be just on one side of town. It's like when something happens in communities non-color or a mass shooting or something, the first thing they're talking about is mental health. When something happens in our community, when we are the perpetrators, all of a sudden we're the animals who need more incarceration and need to be more locked up because we're animals. Hold up.
Well, we said mental health, we're very reactive now. We're very reactive.
Hey,
we just
if it's mental health on one side of town, it's got to be mental health on our side of town. If it's the same thing happening, if it's a mass shooting on my side of town, and the perpetrator looks like me, we have mental health issues. If it's a mass shooting on your side of town and the perpetrator looks like you, we got mental health issues. It's got to be the same. See, listen. Oh, let me stop and I'm getting ready to turn it back over.
No,
too many times
this
people.
Is the point of this last few minutes.
Hold it. Too many times people say what they need to say because really what they're concerned about is their own personal narrative. They disguise it in, I'm concerned about the community, but no, you're really not. What you're really concerned about is because some of you are narcissistic. Some of you want to be the catalyst for the solution to the problem. Some of you want to brag and boast that the only reason people are looking at this is because you brought it to their attention. See, people who are really concerned about the greater good of the community don't care if their name is ever mentioned. They just want to see a solution to the problem. And that's where you need to get out there and vote, because your vote is your voice, and your voice has power. And a voteless people is a hopeless people. Brother Brown.
Well, you know, when we look at it, ask yourself, what do you get? It's no different than taking $100 bill and somebody says, can I have that $100 bill? You have the right to say, well, for what? And they can't look at you and say, I want it just because I want it. I want it because if you give me $100 bill, I'm going to do this in your name. I'm going to put something in your name, something that you believe in, something that you hold dear. Oh, okay. That's your vote. Your vote is that $100.
Come on.
If you tell somebody, I'm going to give you my vote, but I want to know, what do you believe in? Are your principles and your values similar to mine? It's okay to ask that. It's within your right. I sit before you as a mental health professional of 30 plus years. Mental health is near and dear to my heart because it is not a part of our society that it does not impact. That's why it's that important to me. I believe that we have to get to the point where we have people in place that they look at mental health the same way they look at cancer research. They look at mental health the same way they look at the defense budget. They look at mental health the same way they look at education. Because guess what? The defense budget, education, and none of these other things work well if a person's mental health is not in good standing. It's like these new cars. Okay. The new cars are amazing, but everything is computer now.
Come on.
You can have the best transmission. The motor cannot have 100 miles on it. The tires can still have that little piece of rubber sticking off. They brand new.
Come on.
If the computer does not work, that car will not move.
Come on. That part.
The brain, your mental health, is the computer of your life. It needs to be fine-tuned. It needs to be cared for. It needs to be looked after.
Correct.
But when we have people who don't care about mental health, they're not going to make decisions in the best interest of mental health. It's that simple. It is that simple. As we continue to look at, now we're in this political climate and we have people making decisions about mental health, we need to know what their stance is. And it's okay to ask that. It's okay to search within their mind and say, hey, what do you feel about mental health services for our children? How do you feel about allowing people mental health days on the job? Because the job is stressful.
Come on.
Okay. We have to take a proactive approach to mental health instead of a reactive approach. We've been saying that now for the past 3 years that we do this podcast. You have to take care of your mental health or everything else will fall apart.
So true.
It's just a fact. And in having mental health struggles, oh, please, let me say this very slow. Having mental health struggles does not make you weak. It does not make
it's
you
okay
crazy.
Not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay. It's so funny. We have folks that can have physical ailments and go to the doctor and it be nothing thought of it. But if we have a mental issue and we go to the doctor, oh my God, I always knew that boy was crazy. No, this is just a computer, and it needs to be fine-tuned, just like the front end the transmission. It needs to be looked after just like all the rest of it. And if I'm going to go down in my life as that individual that have preached mental health needs to be normalized the same way we normalize going to the dentist, the optometrist, the podiatrist, the dermatologist, we need to normalize going getting mental health services. But you know, we do it, and we've done it on this show. Take a friend to the doctor day.
Come on.
That does not exclude
mental health.
The counseling. That does not exclude mental health. You know, but when we say take a loved one to the doctor, we automatically assume we're talking physical health. Why don't we believe that we need to get a mental tune, a mental checkup?
Real talk.
Every year I go and get a health checkup every year, first of every year. But I also take inventory of am I stressed?
Come on.
Do I find myself overworked? Am I sleeping okay?
Come on, speak on it.
I do a self-assessment every year, several times a year, actually. And I know myself. I find that I get a little melancholy. Now, I'm not going to say depressed, but I know when it is. During the death of around the time of my grandfather's passing, my father's passing, I get a little melancholy.
Right.
But I did an assessment to know that about myself. I know this about myself. I need people to normalize doing a mental checkup. Check on your loved ones.
Amen.
Check on your love. They may not be all right.
Come on.
I met with a young brother today. This young brother not only lost his father, he lost his brother. And he's only 14 years old.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And how do we expect him to not have some feelings about that? I am going to give this young brother everything in me in order to help him to understand the grief process.
Amen.
It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to do a mental assessment the same way it is to go get a physical checkup, do a mental assessment. I don't know if anyone else holds dear these Wednesdays, but we're here because we're committed and we love what we do. We're committed to this, to where we've been doing it now almost 3 years.
That part.
Yeah, almost 3 years. We went from Mental Health Monday to Wellness Wednesdays.
That part right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And my brother has made a commitment that is only going to get bigger and better. I've been committed to this. Every time we come on this air, I give you the best I have.
Come on. And you do.
Hey. And brother, you make sure we look good, we sound good, and you make sure the information that we put out is good. So
that
again,
part.
I'm forever indebted to you for that. That day we met at that coffee shop over 3 years ago.
Yes, sir.
It changed my life. So again,
big ups to Miss Denise Jolivet.
Miss Denise Jolivet set it up. Yes, she did.
Big ups to Miss Denise.
We've been rocking ever since, man. So
yes, sir.
You know, let's keep it going. And I always say go Jags, but we're in football season now. So know that the Tigers are coming to the Bluff.
Right.
And we got to handle business. So my brother, I will see you down there. When are you going down?
I'm actually, hold on. Let me jump on here. I'm actually going to be in Baton Rouge on the Friday. Because let me say this to everybody who may be listening or a part of this podcast. who is a part of the Jaguar Nation or a part of the Tiger Nation, because I do have friends in Jackson, Mississippi that tune into the podcast. Listen, it's going to be like homecoming coming on the Bluff. So I highly recommend you get yourself there early, because if not, you might not be parked and walking into the stadium until halftime. I'm just saying. Make sure you get your way on campus.
I remember one year they just stopped the traffic because there was nobody could come back over. People was just parked on the hump and on the avenue. So
Hey, so understand the Boombox Classic, for it to be a SWAC game that is not a interstate rival, is probably one of the best classics you can go to. The Jaguars always show up to Jackson, and the Tigers always show up to Mumford. So, family, and listen, let's talk about this before we go, because I got time today. We just had a young man get killed at a football game in Port Allen. Family, learn to leave the guns at home, leave the beef at home. Football and sports is our way to enjoy ourselves, and nobody wants to go to an event to enjoy themselves, and all of a sudden you're dealing with the tragedy of senseless gun violence. We got to do better, family. And that's why we do this podcast, to give you an insight and tools and information where you can think about, what can I do better? And let me do this right quick before we go too, because I normally have already did this a few times, but I haven't today. Listen, there's the website, positivechoicescounseling.org. If you need somebody to talk to, someone to help you with counseling, be it marital counseling, be it substance abuse counseling, be it I just need to talk to somebody because it feels like the world is caving in on me, positivechoicescounseling.org. My brother Edward Brown, he the man. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to him.
Hey, man, we always say we don't keep you long. We're not here for a long time. We're here to make sure you have good information. So we hope you got that today. And if nobody else told you today, we love you. Peace. See you next week.